There's one ecosystem that is quietly pumping while almost all others are struggling for life. The ecosystem was a giant, enormous last bull market, and all the marketing and investment firepower to make it back to the top. Lucky for us, the market's still sleeping on this massive potential. And we have the opportunity to ride the growth wave to hopefully massive returns. In this video, guys, I'm gonna give you my top 3 coins that could explode in this ecosystem, as well as an exciting guest that we have on the show today that's gonna tell you a little bit about the AI ecosystem as well, which I'm very excited for their project, and I'll let him tell you about it. So if you guys are excited for the show today, you know what to do. Smash up the like buttons. New to the channel, what's up? Subscribe. My name is Kyle. I've been here for 13 years. And without further ado, let's get into it. So what's happening? Well, we're seeing a nice little bounce right now. Nice little green candle, like solid on the daily over here. And it's nice to see that the Bitcoin price is coming back up. Now, the timeline seems to have changed from super fear and super bearish to like we get a little bit of green today. Everyone's excited. Altcoin season's here, et cetera, et cetera. I'm still personally advising some caution. But with that being said, let's move forward with the show today. This was actually really, really big. And just to give you some perspective and remind you of where we are in the global macro environment with crypto, this is Trump at the FII Institute, which if you remember last year on the channel, this was happening in Riyadh in Saudi, and this year it happened in Miami. So let's listen to Trump here.
Jones Industrial Average is up 2,200 points, and Bitcoin has set multiple all-time record highs because everyone knows that I'm committed to making America the crypto capital. We want to stay at the forefront of everything, and one of them is crypto, and Miami seems to be the center of the action, come to think of it. And maybe it'll stay there.
Is that true, guys? Let me know in the comments below if you're from the States. If Miami is the center of action, pump it over there. Next thing you know, I really want to express this to you guys. If you are selling your Bitcoin, please reconsider, because as you can see from this chart here, this is really good from Nick from Coin Bureau. 2024 change in Bitcoin ownership. Check this out. Negative 525,000 came from individuals selling, while almost the exact same bought from funds and ETFs. Even more from businesses. Okay, guys, as you guys can see, like, unfortunately, Bitcoin was meant to be, this thing that changes the world for everybody. And it was meant to be, we've had 15 years, almost 16 years now, of time for individuals to buy in. And unfortunately, in 2024, most individuals who are owning Bitcoin sold, while the funds, institutions, and businesses were buying. So all the rich people are going to be getting richer as Bitcoin goes up, and individuals are losing their opportunity for upside. But people thought it was crazy when Bitcoin went from $1. They said it would never go to $1,000, and then it did, right? And when it hit 1,000, people were like, "Oh, it's not going to go to $10,000," and then it did, right? And then people said, "Wow, it can never go to $100,000," and here we are today with more clarity. And it's more obvious than ever that it's going to go up. So is it so crazy to think that it's going to go from 100,000 to 1 million? That's obvious that it will. And so the opportunity is still there, my friends, still there to buy Bitcoin. And to me, this is one of the best risk rewards for your long-term portfolio. In my opinion, personally, better than buying a house, better than buying anything else, is Bitcoin. I just want to show you this because I know that a lot of people are saying you should be in all altcoins. For me, I think that majority of wealth should be in the blue chips, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, et cetera, and then the rest in the more risky assets. We talk about that a lot, right? This barbell strategy. Also, it's important for when altcoins correct 70, 90%, that and Bitcoin is corrected 5 or 10%, that we don't have these huge losses either, right? But we have more good news today. Let's get into that. So just to give you some perspective, like history rhymes, but doesn't repeat always. But just like some perspective on where we potentially could be in the market. Mr. Crypto over here says, we've never had 5 red weeks in a row in a bull market. This is the 4th red week. Next week could be bullish, right? Or will be, he says. We've had plenty of 4 consecutive red weeks in bull runs before, but never a 5th. So could this be a turning point? I like I said, I think that things are delayed 2 or 3 months, but I also happy to admit that I could be wrong. And God, I hope that I'm wrong. And I hope that things start going up like crazy ASAP. We had a nice bounce today. Is it a fake out, or are we on our way up? We'll see over the coming days, guys. But to give you some perspective, gold has been skyrocketing as well. So gold prices have recorded 5 consecutive weekly gains. So like the opposite of crypto, of Bitcoin, the longest streak since 2020. Over this time, gold prices have risen a whopping 11%. Peter is getting a big green dildo right now. Peter Schiff. This comes after a 27% gain in 2021. Whoa, watch out, gold. But this is big for gold, right? Big for gold. Physical gold demand is skyrocketing globally. And this is showing you people want a store of value because they see inflation, they see the debasement of the dollar, of fiat currencies. And so it's coming into gold. Now, why is it significant? Well, because gold has always been a leading indicator to show us what happens with crypto. As you can see here, this is the lineup exactly on the timeline, 2 charts, Bitcoin and gold. And as you can see here, when gold started to rally here on Monday, the 3rd of June in 2024, you still had Bitcoin chopping sideways that entire time for 3 months. And then it decides to go up, right? Back here in 2022, again, gold going up, 77. So 2 months later, 2.5, that's when Bitcoin starts to go up. And so far, gold started to go up on December 23rd, and it's been 56 days so far. So if this remains true, then maybe we have anywhere between a week to potentially 3 or 4 weeks before we start to see a major run up in Bitcoin and subsequently our precious altcoins as well. So this was also really, really important too. From the Federal Reserve, the minutes say several participants suggest halting or slowing balance sheet reduction pending debt ceiling resolution. So as you guys know or don't know, there's always like this debt spending, this like how much the government can spend, and we always hit the ceiling, and then the government, like both sides of the aisle, argue and blah, 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 blah. And then eventually they always agree to raise the debt ceiling, otherwise the government has to shut down and whatnot. So majority of people are calling to end quantitative tightening, although it wasn't an unanimous decision or vote. It still remains to be seen. It does appear, though, that there will be end of quantitative easing or tightening and potentially an era of quantitative easing. I think we're going to see that here. All right, guys, this was all over the news, and I really had to understand why it was so significant. Marty Party says, Nasdaq has announced Rule 5712, a new rule to allow the listing and trading of commodity and digital asset-based investment interests, which are securities issued by a trust, limited liability company, or other similar entity that holds specified commodities, digital assets, derivatives, and security products. This is a new rule to support digital asset products tradable on Nasdaq. So he says this is the biggest new crypto regulation in TradFi, in my opinion. Now, I looked into this a bit deeper, and I ran this through ChatGPT just to understand exactly why it was interesting. Because already we have the ETFs, Bitcoin and Ethereum, traded on Nasdaq and I think New York Stock Exchange and stuff like that, or just Nasdaq, I'm not sure. But really, what is interesting about this rule is the proposal of more baskets of base, like ETFs. Right, ETF-based, not ETFs, like indexes. So, this could open up the pathway for a lot more, like the Coin 50, for example. Right, maybe, you get one of these broker dealers or BlackRock or something that creates a basket of, Solana, XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, something like that, that then becomes tradable on the Nasdaq, which will obviously pump a lot more liquidity into the crypto space. Now, I want to give a shout out to Commonwealth while we talk about this indexes, because as you guys may or may not know, Commonwealth is one of the projects that I'm heavily involved with. And they recently launched these, essentially what we just talked about for that NASDAQ rule are these index funds. And so easily now anyone can come and with the click of the button, buy what they're calling bundles over here and easily invest in the top 5 cryptos. So you can, in this basket of currencies, you got Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, BNB, and Solana. So I think this is going to be a very, very popular product. When retail comes back in, I've got people, like my mom and other things and others that are saying like, I really want to buy other cryptos, but I don't know which ones to buy. Like maybe I should just buy the top 5 or something. And instead of them having to go figure out on exchange how to trade for all of them, they can come here, one click of the button on Commonwealth and buy the top 5 crypto. You also have the top 5 memes over here where it can give you exposure easily. I mean, this is something that, if you have people that are a little bit more risk on, for example, and they want to go buy the top 5 memes. So they want to buy Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, Pepe, Trump, and Bonk. Like, this is the easiest way with a click of the button, either credit card or crypto, to go and buy an index, and you can easily sell at any time or buy into this at any time. So I think it's a really cool product that I think is going to be super popular as retail comes back in. It's just another thing that Commonwealth has shipped, continue showing innovation. Also from Cointelegraph says SEC withdraws its appeal in case over crypto broker dealer rule that would have given the agency jurisdiction over decentralized crypto protocols. So this is really important because we're looking, the United States is looking at how to regulate decentralized crypto protocols. Now, the SEC will still have jurisdiction over securities-based digital assets, and I think that makes a lot of sense. But who's going to regulate decentralized products, right? Like, exchanges or like Paid Network, for example, or Commonwealth even, right? And so these tokens should not be regulated by the SEC. And this was a really, really important thing that the SEC withdrew their case to regulate decentralized crypto products. Thank God. Right? And to give you some more perspective on timeline, guys, Quentin broke it down pretty good over here. Last year, crypto was dead from March to October. 7 months of boredom. Most gave up. Then November came and the markets made them regret it. Fast forward 3 months of slow price action and people are losing patience again. The cycle repeats. Stay in the game. Next move will shock everyone. And as you can see on the daily today from Manager Bubbles, the things are looking green. Very, very nice. And I was like, what the hell is this meow? Crazy popped out of nowhere. I don't know. It looked a little bit shady to me. But anyway, everything's green today. Looks nice. And the AI DeFi sector has been one of the strongest performers on this bounce. So the past 24 hours, the section that got hit the hardest that we've been talking about the past couple of days has bounced the hardest, which is really nice to see. I had a feeling and told you guys that I thought that might be the way that it moves forward. And a couple of things. So if we look at the flows here, guys, you can see that over the past week, the majority of the money from all chains pretty much is going into BNB chain. So I wanted to bring your attention to BNB chain today as it's kind of leading $57 million over the last week from other chains coming into the BNB chain. And you can see that BNB chain has always been a really strong performer ever since 2021. This is unique addresses continue to grow at a rapid rate. Daily increase, this one shows, wow, almost 2 million daily increases in wallets yesterday. So as yesterday, almost 2 million new daily wallets. Insane on the BNB chain. And Hasib over here from Dragonfly Capital says, Westerners continually forget how big BNB chain is. Even before CZ's dog showed up, BNB chain had many daily actives. As Base, more TVL than Base, more fees than Base, and more DEX volume than either Base or Ethereum. Like it or not, the big three are Ethereum, Solana, and BNB. Now, this is as of right now, but in each bull run, we've had many, many new leaders come forward and emerge, as new players who've proven themselves. So I'm still very optimistic on things like SWI and Base. We'll talk a little bit more about Base in the show today. But on to the rotation of attention back into BNB chain and Binance. Well, Binance is still the largest exchange that everyone wants to be listed on. And as you can see, one of my favorite AI platforms, Kaito, launched their token today on Binance. And if you were part of this hodler program, then you would have got an airdrop, right? And you can see that in this. So one of the things that helps draw the price of Binance up is one, they burn every quarter, but also they've got $1.2 billion of BNB tokens locked so people can get airdrops from these projects. Pretty crazy. And as you can see on DEX volume, that PancakeSwap is the number one DEX volume over the past 7 days, over the past 24 hours, beating all other DEXs, and has the second most TVL of all the DEXs. So PancakeSwap is something that maybe, potentially, is a good play here. Now, it's one of the blue chips, ranked number 120, and coming in, almost all tokens are circulating, not fully, but getting there. So not a lot of dilution or inflation coming, and a ton of volume. You can see already over $1 billion of volume, trading volume happening on PancakeSwap. You can see it's heating up, guys. And compared to the other DEXs, you've got, 1 billion, almost 900 million compared to 2.4 billion for Radium, 5.2 billion for Jupiter, 10 billion for Uniswap. So for it performing the most volume and all this attention coming back, to me, this seems like a pretty good play. PancakeSwap has had, tons of attention in the past. And if things continue with BNB Chain and Binance, then it seems like a no-brainer to me. Now, I just want to bring this up because it seems obvious, but like the biggest risk in AI is missing out, says Google CEO Sundar Pichai. His last name has AI in it. That's funny. Now, the interesting thing in conversation that I have with my friends in the crypto circles is like the everyday person doesn't have the ability to get into AI projects, right? We're not being offered, early investments in OpenAI and in Anthropic and, Google and stuff like that. So what do we have? Well, we have the crypto industry, right? And so we can get exposure to not miss out on AI gains by having exposure in the crypto industry. Now, I shared this with you guys the other day. All right, just CZ, again, bringing back life to the AI agent space. And as you guys can see, these are all the kind of like hottest AI agents building in the BNB ecosystem. So you got like AI agent platforms, so kind of like virtual and these kind of ones, or AI agents themselves. And people do this, and we've seen this in previous runs, like the BNB chain ecosystem. It's separate from Binance, the exchange, but like they always lead people on and say, oh, well, if you build on BNB, you're more likely to be listed on Binance. And like, whether that's true or not, it's a really good hook to get people to build on Binance chain, like for sure. Okay, guys, one of the ones that launched, I mentioned briefly the other day, is MyShell. Now, MyShell is pretty interesting. They've come a long way. And just to scroll down here and show you the backers and investors, pretty crazy. Dragonfly, Binance Labs, OKX, et cetera, DEFI. And they've built a pretty cool product. I'm going to show you the video now.
Introducing the all-new Shell Agent. Let's have a look at what's new. Shell Agent Protocol. With Shell Agent, you can create AI agent workflows with an intuitive drag-and-drop system. No coding required. Everyone can now contribute diverse AI widgets and collaborate on AI models effortlessly, supercharging productivity by up to 10,000.
That's a lot. Supercharged productivity by 10,000x. It's a huge claim.
Times. IM integration. Shell Agent.
Not saying that it's not true, but I mean, it's a huge claim. The 10,000x is a lot. I mean, like 10x would be fantastic. 10,000x, that's life-changing.
Your favorite social media platforms. Interact with AI agents directly inside social apps. Generate content, automate responses, and get instant AI-powered insights. On-chain intelligence. For crypto users, Shell Agent now supports on-chain wallets directly within Chat UI. You can check balances, trade assets, and make instant transactions all without ever leaving the chat. It's simple, fast, and secure. With Shell Agent's latest updates, the future of AI is here. Explore Shell Agent.
It does seem like a really cool product, and people that I know in the AI industry have been talking about this for a long time. So it's not like it's something like this one certainly hasn't been a fly-by-night, pop up out of nowhere kind of thing. I know they've been building for a while, and I'm the thing is we wanted to see price discovery before bidding on it to see, where is it going to land as private investors are going to take profit, and it's just started trading, So if you look here, it's basically was launched February 14th, so about a week ago. And it seems to be, it's pretty volatile here, actually going, from 40 cents to 55 cents. And, it's right now it's 33% below all-time high, which was 3 days ago. And it doesn't seem like a crazy valuation. My guess is that these investors, and I don't take my word for it. I don't have the info pulled up here, but I don't think there's going to be a huge amount of inflation coming. My guess is these big investors have longer lockups, but again, don't hold me to that one. Maybe in the future I'll pull it up. But if you guys go to cryptorank.io and look for MyShell or Shell, you can look at the vesting over there. I think if they have it public, but you do have still a decent amount of 25% of tokens circulating in the market, which is a pretty good flow, pretty good price discovery, which I like to see. And an FDV of about 400 million. I think that's not bad. I think, personally, I think this could be a pretty decent play over here. And it is available on both ETH and BNB chain as well. So keep in mind, this isn't going to give you an accurate, if you look at just DEX Screener, it's why it's always good to go check on something like CoinGecko, because if you look at just DEX Screener, you're only seeing the token on BSC, but it's traded on both. So Dex Screener doesn't have a good way to update this. I think that they can, but I think that it's a complicated like manual process. So it's actually double the market cap right now that you're seeing on Dex Screener. But that's okay. Actually, the market cap is the same, but the fully diluted valuation is double. And I'll just read you a little bit about my shell. So we recently announced 3 major updates to our modular agentic framework, Shell Agent. Shell Agent protocol, Shell Agent now open for all developers to contribute AI widgets. IM integration, deploy AI agents on social media platforms. Cool, I want to try that. On-chain intelligence, DeFi automation, and on-chain adaptability. Cool. So this is like AI XBT kind of stuff, or another agent we'll talk about in a second. Anyway, guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you try this out, go try it out and let me know what you think of it. I definitely maybe this weekend want to play around with it and see what I can create and get creative. So the other one, guys, is this BNB XBT. It's kind of like AI XBT, but for the Binance chain. And, like it's very similar to AI XBT. And you can see that an update from it says BNB XBT is now listed on Binance Alpha as of February 19th. This recognition highlights strong growth potential and community interest, potentially paving the way for Binance exchange listing. Speculative, but it is listed on Binance Alpha, and so maybe potentially, who knows? Maybe it's gets listed on Binance. Who knows? But this says, "Hey, bro." Introducing our upcoming terminal designed to deliver clear, real-time insights on BNB chain coins and protocols and enable seamless on-chain trading and transactions built on a robust ELIZA OS framework and powered by agentic RAG for deep BSC research. It's nearing prime time. And it's trading right now at $5.6 million. You can see it got a crazy pump and a nice correction, which we always like to see. It is compared to AIXBT, which gives you alpha all over the place, which I think is much more useful than something that's just bound to BNB chain alone. But hey, who knows? If this thing gets listed on Binance, right now it's sitting at $5.7 million FDV, it could be a good play. Now, if we look at COOKIE.fun, which we are big fans of and supporters of, investors in, we can see that when we look at dominance of where these AI agents and frameworks are getting built on, right now Solana has surpassed Base, but Base is number 2, right? And that's going to bring me into the interview that we're about to have right here with my friend Igor from Rivals, which is a really exciting project. Great investors, great partners. But you can see, guys, in the past 24 hours, from all chains, the majority of liquidity is actually flowing back to Base, which is very, very bullish for Base. So, guys, without further ado, let's dive into this interview with Igor. Exciting project launching tomorrow. Check it out. Igor, welcome, man. Good to have you back here. A lot of my audience knows that I've talked about Rivals in the past. It's been a while since we've caught up. So instead of me telling them what's been going on, I know you guys have a TGE coming up. So I wanted to bring you on. And, I know you guys are doing some impressive stuff. So welcome back to the show. Good to have you here. And if you could just tell the audience, or either remind them, for those who have heard of Rivals before, or for those who haven't heard about it, what is Rivals?
Awesome. So we're building the world abstraction layer for AI and agents, which basically just means that we're creating connectivity tissue between the AI agent side of things, right? And all types of services, hardware, humans, and like connecting these two things together, right? We have a large stack of products that we've released to build this world abstraction. So far, we've released our version 1s of our AI native data layer. You can think of this as a very AI focused kind of file coin. We've released our AI oracles. This is a pretty unique product. Basically allows you to use smart contracts with off-chain inference. And currently we're working also on using that to trigger agents in the off-chain world. We've also created an AI automation platform, which is growing well as well. And finally, what we're very, very focused on right now is the launch of Roam, which is our Swarm platform, where users can participate as agent creators and as Swarm creators, right? And we are once again kind of connecting individual agents to swarms there through that product, and allowing for a new type of economy to emerge where the ownership of these swarms is directly tokenized towards users, right? And this is you can think about this as sort of an AI native economy of sorts, right? This is where we're currently at, and obviously, like, I don't know when this video is going to go live, but we're launching the token very soon as well. So a lot of these products that I just described, right, they'll start actively creating value for rivals. That's where we are.
Yeah, it should go live tonight. So before your TGE. So for those, okay, cool. Sounds significant. So I would frame this as in like AI infrastructure. Is that's right? Yeah. And so with all these different things, I mean, like, is this really a product meant for the end user, retail, or is it mostly a B2B product? Is it both?
So this was meant for kind of developers and B2B, but I have a very big kind of desire to build B2C products, which is it's not easy. It's not easy. But
Yeah.
what we kind of came together with is that one of these products that I mentioned, right, the Swarm platform, that's going to have a heavy B2C angle, right, as their users will be able to create agents, and these are not your typical, launch an agent token. They are agents that are based on your own some kind of resource, right? Your social profile or a node or something else, right? And then participating in swarms, right? This is done kind of by the user, and this has a heavy B2C kind of angle to it, as we want to bring people from a utility side of things, right, to participate in the creation of these new types of organizations, let's say agentic organizations, right? That are swarms. Yeah.
So, okay. So, and what about the other developers who have been building, agents and agent frameworks and things like that? Are they able to use Rivals? Even though I know that your stack involves, I think the token is launching on Arbitrum, if I'm not mistaken,
On base,
on
right?
Base.
On base.
Okay, but your tech stack is Dimension for data, and then Arbitrum for something else, I believe. Is
So
that right?
so so our chain, we're launching that a little bit later, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
full focus right now, just like Rome is taking all the spotlight, right? We have over 30 swarms launching there at release. So there's just too much going on to have like our chain at the same time as this. So we're gonna focus on Rome for now, and then our chain is gonna come later. Our token is going to be on base right now, and the platform release is going to be on base, right? You mentioned like how can others use this. So
Yeah.
I mentioned we're going to be pushing this like new type of primitive, which are resource-based agents, or our agents as we call them, and they're different from all the other agents in the space because we are literally tokenizing a unit of an agent that has direct ownership over a specific resource or service, right? So, for example, just to give you an example, right? Let's say there's a resource-based agent that has control over some type of Google API, for example, right? And you can always go and go to that agent and request that service from that agent, right? If you need those services, right? Or there's another agent that has control of a Twitter API, right? Or like an X API, right? Um, from what we allow users to do right now is that we allow them to agentify their computer, basically, right? Their PC, right? So we would have agents that have access and control over the user's compute power. So this is where it's going. And to your question about frameworks, this is really easy to actually. We actually started building initially as a plugin towards Elisa, and this is easily integratable through the other frameworks, right? And to give you an example of what we're doing right now is that we're helping other companies that don't have an agent yet, right? And they don't want to have this like token agent, right? They're
Right.
not interested in that, right? They just have like a token as a normal project, right? But they want to have like a tokenized separate, version of an agent that's powered by their services, right? This is what we're actually helping companies to do right now. and they want to participate in our swarm economy, right? This way, right? So this is, hopefully that kind of answers your question there.
Yeah. So it seems like Rome is kind of will be the front facing kind of, I don't know, frontier product that you guys are launching, right? Can you talk a little bit just more about it? I know you said it's a swarm product, but maybe just elaborate a little bit more on what that
Yeah,
means.
just to put it simply, right? We want to establish a way for users to create agents that have utility, right? So not an agent token to trade, right? But an agent that has utility, right? And we also have it tokenized, right? But not for the reasons of trading, right? But for the reasons of tracking ownership, right? Over that agent, right? So we allow users to launch agents that have value, right? And then we allow you to provide your agents to swarms and earn money from that, right? Swarms are basically any like collective of agents. So
Yep.
what we see right now is that projects they launching on Rome, they're like, okay, cool, we want to create our own swarm. We're going to be listed on Rome, and people will come and provide their agents right to our swarm. The end result is that, let's say you're some kind of project sitting there with your swarm and you have thousands of agents to use to tap into, right? And you will be incentivizing them to stay within your swarm, right? Through token rewards or other means, et cetera, et cetera. And
So
this is the current stage of things, right? Yeah.
so you said that you have about 30 swarms launching from day one. Can you give us some examples of what they'll be doing or what kind of use cases there?
So the swarms themselves, right? Again, they're just like a collective of agents, right?
Yep.
We don't really, at this point, we don't care that much, right? What exactly they're doing, each one of them specifically, right? And for example, we can launch a swarm for a project like Aether, right? Or Nasana, or a smaller project like some agent, right? And what this will give them, right? It will give them the utility of having thousands of these agents, right? That each have some specific utility that they can use, right? From, let's say, some of them could be social, some of them could be compute related, some of them could be other types of services that they can leverage, right? Kind of, I'm sure people have like heard about the idea of swarms, right? But the whole idea here is that you have many agents, many of them have different utilities, right? And then the value of the swarm comes from getting more and more of them, right? And have them work with each other to get some interesting kind of output, right? So we're onboarding a lot of projects into this. It's very experimental, obviously, but the goal here is that we want to build like a new economy, really, a whole new economy that's very much centered around utility, right? Instead of just, oh, there's just some weird token. There's no connection to the underlying service whatsoever. And in our case, we see this a very interesting model of ways to marry how people provide services to an AI economy, right? How they share value from that, right? How swarms grow. In some sense, this is kind of like what one of our investors he told me, you're building like an agentic gig economy, right? So create your agent,
Yeah.
send them off, send them off to these swarms. They're going to earn some money, right, just for you, and you don't have to do anything. That's correct. That's also like another way to look at it. Yeah.
Cool. So if I wanted, some agents to help me do research for my YouTube videos or to make better, more informed, posts on X or something like that, is this something like a service that I could find from these kind of agents on Rivals or part of the swarm?
So currently we're focusing on utility for the swarm specifically. So right now the utility is more like B2B, right? So
Okay.
this would not really be B2B, this would be B2C. And for swarms, it's more like aggregate as much compute as possible, aggregate a lot of data services, et cetera, et cetera. What you're talking about, for that, we have these what we call personal AI agents, or PAGs, as we call them. And you can create one right now. Those capabilities, like you mentioned at the right now, they're going to go live later in Q2, and we will
Okay.
be providing more personalized services for
Nice.
users kind of directly. Yeah.
And then what's the goal for Rivals, let's say within the next 12 months? Like how do you envision it?
So Roam has a lot of layers, right? So user created agents, right, and swarms. That's where we're starting. We're going to be introducing pretty soon company created agents so that they can
Yep.
participate in these swarms, and then we'll go towards full tokenization of swarms. So where you can launch a token for your swarm and then provide value back to the agents that actually initiated the whole swarm. There's a lot of stuff going on that field. Um, and then we have two frameworks we're going to be launching, which is the resource-based agent framework that I mentioned, and we're building a framework for mass resource orchestration. Just to give you an example, like we launched Roam in like a very, very closed beta, and we like that resulted in about like 8,000 agents being created. So there's massive demand there
Wow.
for mass orchestration of these things. So that's going to be very crucial. And then looking at the company's kind of end users feedback, we're just aiming to grow and grow and grow that as a very utility centric economy. And there's what's good about it is that because it's very utility centric, there's a lot of token sinks both for us and for other projects. So yeah, there's a lot of ground to cover.
And do you guys have some pretty meaningful partnerships already, and in the crypto space or otherwise? Can you tell us about those?
Yeah, we do. We obviously have like a lot of stuff like Chainlink from early on. Um, from the compute side, we've been closely working with Aether and Asana as well, and that's also one of the things that are probably going to be pretty early on tokenized in Rome as well. And then there's just like I think like there's like 70, 80, or like close to 100 partnerships we have with different projects, right? All with
Okay.
the premise that we want to lead them into the swarm economy. It's working well, and obviously working with a lot of blockchains right now. And there's some Web2 partnerships also that are being cooked, but I'll keep that a secret for now.
Perfect. Yeah,
Uh,
for sure. So it seems like, okay, cool. So and then you have your TGE coming up. If people want to follow along what you guys are doing, when is the TGE? Maybe what exchanges you guys going to be listing on, and how do people follow you guys? And I'll post the links to your X and stuff in the description below. But yeah.
So we're going live on the 21st of February. That's 1 p.m. UTC,
Okay.
and I think in terms of exchanges, it's Gate, KuCoin, Maxi, some other smaller ones, and
Okay.
then on Dex we'll have Aerodrome,
Uh-huh.
and going to be providing liquidity there ourselves. Um, and then in the future, probably we'll have a bridge for other chains as well. But for now, just fully focused on Based. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Thanks, Igor. Appreciate you coming on, man. Sounds really exciting. For you guys who don't know, I'm an advisor for Rivals and been following along a long time. I also know some of the other partnerships that you guys have, but I'm very excited for you guys to talk about those when you're ready. But thanks for coming on, Igor. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Kyle.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up today. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.